Hey everybody, this is MyCollectables coming back with another video for you. I've got the ultimate grudge match, the ultimate battle for you right here. It's Todd versus Darth Vader, and it's in the Veve app. And right now we're seeing a battle going on between the two of them. A lot of people are pinning them up against each other, and a lot of people are wondering which one is better. Which one should they go after? Should they own two Todds or two Vaders or one of each or multiple of each? I mean, obviously you want to own multiple of each, but people are really wondering what's going on. So I'm going to break it down for you today. I'm going to talk about each one. I'm going to explain some of their positives and negatives, if there are any, and I'm going to put them up against each other. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you my solution to the Todd and Vader war that is going on right now in the market. This is going to be a lot of fun. So if you like the video, please hit like. That would be great. I also want you to comment down below after and let me know what you think. I want to know who you think is better and why. From the stuff I'm going to give you some good info today, I think, that's really going to help make your decision right. And then you can also join my channel. That would be great as well. Join it as a member, or you can subscribe. Either one is fantastic. I'd love to see you back in more videos. And then we can take this conversation onto Twitter if you like. You can follow me there. My link is in the description of the video, and I will try to follow you back as well. That's what I'm doing, and we can continue that conversation. So let's get into it. I got my little Vader right there, original. I got my Todd back there, which is the original, right? You know, in regards to where the art came from, and he's where the art came from. So I think it's really great, right? So let's get into it. Who's better? Which one to buy? My solution. So first one, let's talk about the Todd Batman right here. Now everyone knows. Now, I'm just going to give you some straight up market facts right now. This is July 10th. Okay, so these numbers change, but this is how it is this morning, right? And anyway, you got 305 listings for sale of Todd. If you can actually see this down right here, the floor is about 1849. So we're having, a little bit of cheap gem dips happening right now. For the cheap gems where they got rid of those, that's affecting the market. So that's okay. But he's down. So there's a great entry price on these right now. There's editions of Todd himself has 7,500 editions. Okay, that's how many there are. The list price when he first came out was $79.99, and he's a common, okay? So that's what Todd's looking like right now in the actual market. Those are some of his basic stats. Now, you go to Vader right here, and we got to look at these two. That way we can really determine, what we want to do. Here's Vader. He's gorgeous, isn't he? And right now there's actually 302 listings in the marketplace for him. He goes for about $2,050, so his price is slightly higher than Todd, and they've been bouncing back and forth, all week long for the last 2 weeks. Sometimes Todd's higher, sometimes Vader's higher. They've been bouncing back and forth. But right now, Vader seems to have been risen above slightly. And his list price when we got him was 80, and there's the editions of us are 59.77. So there's actually less editions of Vader, of his ultra rare than there is of Todd, right? So that's interesting, right? So I'm going to get into some more stats right here. This is Vader right here. Now this is some basic stats for you that really will help, and some opinions too. And then I'm going to break it down in terms of positives and negatives, okay? So this is going to be really fun. I'm having fun doing this anyway. Darth Vader Ultra Rare. Okay, so like I said, there's the listings, 302. Like I said, those are the stats I just gave you, and those change daily, so this is just the thing. But the one thing to consider about Vader, okay, and he's actually an ultra rare, this particular version of him. And I know there's the common and the uncommon. I'm not talking about those today, specifically. And anyway, so you get half a point more per day, right, on MCP. So he beats Todd in regards to that. He gets more Master Collector points per day. It's a half a point because he's the ultra rare, but hey, it's still a half a point, right? So if you stacked up Vaders, you get more points, right? That's kind of funny, right? Anyway, his set though, this is interesting with him and Todd. His set is easier to complete because there's only 3 characters, 3 of him, and the other 2 are worth about 150 or so right now in the market, or 140. So you can complete his set better, and you'll get that bonus set point. I think it's 3 if you have a 3 collectible set. So that's actually better than Todd as well, because you have to get all 4 of Todd, of those original things to do the set on Todd, and that is actually really expensive to do, because of Rizzo and all that stuff. So he's actually a better set, right? Anyway, outside factors for Vader being successful, okay? You have the crazy Disney marketing. They're huge, and they're pumping him out. They're doing tons of stuff with him right now as well with the Obi-Wan show, and they might give him his own show. Vader has that machine behind behind him with all the toys and all that kind of stuff. And that is a massive factor for popularity moving forward. Remember, he's like over 40-something years old, and he's still very popular and even more relevant right now than he may have ever been. Well, maybe not ever been, but he's like really relevant again because of what Disney does. So this is a factor, right? This is why he's also gaining attention right now. Now, Star Wars marketing is the other one. You can see it like that. Star Wars is not going to stop. They're going to keep pumping out stuff and programs, and he's always going to be kind of the top villain. They're always going to reference him, right? So like, that's going to be great as well, right? And he's the FA of a Star Wars character that we have on Veve. This is the first character that we have, and he is the one. He is the main one, and of course, you know, of course, it would have to be him, right? Now, as a collectible, these are factors too about Vader as well. He's animated, which is really a bonus over Todd, right? He's got high definition quality, so like that's really great. Todd's really nice as well, but Vader's slightly better because of his detail and everything. And he's got sound, of course, right, which is a real factor. And he's playable, which I mean, he could put him next to other future characters and they'll be all animated and you can play with him in AR because he actually does stuff. And that is a really important factor for Vader being, you know, maybe like in terms of the battle with Todd, right? The Vader versus Todd battle. Those are important factors. So let's get on to the Todd now. And this is another one. We went through all the numbers right there as well, just like we did. Now he's a common, okay, which is interesting. He's not an ultra rare or anything, so he gets less points. So that's not as good for him compared to Vader, right? The set to complete is very difficult, okay? So that's also a thing with him. But you know, people don't really look at it that way necessarily. People look at it as just the 1-to-1, but that is a factor if you think about it over time. Now, outside factors, DC marketing. Now, they're not as good or big as Disney, right? Because it's DC. They've been kind of floundering a bit. He did have his movie come out, and they're going to be continually making movies, and I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit as well. Batman movies, like I said, they're coming out. They're solo Batman movies, which is really important. There's no solo Vader movies pretty much ever coming, right? It's only Batman, and they'll continue to make them, right? And he's the FA of a comic book character, which I think is really important, especially in the collectible world, because it matches up with comic books, and that is actually really important, specifically this one, because it matches up with that comic right there, and a comic book artist, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Now, the collectible himself, not animated, no sound, not exactly super high definition quality, and it's not playable. He's really just a statue to look at, right? So those are factors that, you know, if you compare the two of them, right? So let's dive in a little bit deeper now. Here's the Todd Batman. I want to continue with him. Here's some of the factors I want to talk about. These are positive factors, okay, with him, okay? So it's the first ever, now this is the big one, the first ever collectible on Veve, like the first ever dropped, and that is massive. You cannot discount that. And, you know, it's huge, right? So when this app is really big, he was the first, okay? There is no taking away from that. Just like Marvel Comics 1, he is the first, and that's a massive factor in his favor. He's also the first appearance of Batman. Now, this is massive, too, because it's not just the first appearance of, you know, a character on Veve. It is also the first Batman, and Batman is hugely historical, right? So more solo Batman movies and comic books. So Batman himself, this is the difference between Batman and Todd. Batman will always have movies coming. He'll always have another reboot. He'll always have comics coming for all time. They will never stop making Batman content, and his relevancy will only continue to be there, like, completely. That is a factor when it comes to him versus Vader, because Vader is a solo story that's already been told, right? So anyway, that's going to be helping him long term, because there's going to be another Batman movie, and it could be super famous and popular. It's just going to bring more attention to this, right? So anyway, he's going to be made forever. Like I said, they'll never stop making Batman stuff, right? So there's more historical than Vader. He is actually older than Vader too, so he's more historical. So there's that aspect. He's been around a lot longer, touched more lives in regards to like how many people collect Batman. I mean, you know, right? So this is kind of a factor, right? This is in the war. You have to consider these. And also he's ties to in real life comic books and a famous artist. So he's also got the Todd name, which is Todd McFarlane. McFarlane, which is a famous artist, and that Batman collectible doesn't have anything to do with that. It doesn't have any artist attached to it. So that's another cool factor too, right? First Todd McFarlane type thing as well. So these things all help him, right? Now the negatives of him in Veve is that his selling fee is lower, so people do sell him quicker than Vader. So that's just a straight up like situation with Veve that I think they need to rectify. I think they need to like even out the selling fees on all of these, because we don't want these guys competing because of selling fees, right? Now he's not animated. Now, if I don't know if you can see this down here, I put it in red, so it might be hard to see. Oh yeah, he's not animated. So I think that does factor into people being able to play with this character over time in the app, right? Especially metaverse situations. So that's going to be a factor too. And there's lots of Batman NFTs on Veve. There's lots of them to choose from, where there's only like one Vader. I mean, there's 3 Vaders because of his 2 variations, but there's only one animated Vader, and that's really going to help. And we may never get another Vader, right? So, you know, maybe a battle statue or something, right? Right? Because we got a Batman battle statue, right? So let's get into the Vader one right here, and I want to talk about this. So he is like pretty much the most iconic villain of all time. And yes, I do think he beats the Joker, you know, because Batman right there. But, you know, people can argue that, but that's okay. He's one of the most iconic villains, and people love villains, so that's a factor too, right? Now, Star Wars franchise plus Disney marketing power. Now, these are positives for him. Those will never stop as well. So when I talk about Batman having multiple movies, Vader, they're going to keep doing stuff with Vader. But now telling his story, though, there's only so much more you can go with his story, you know, before it's done. Like we already know his arc. Whereas Batman, they just keep on making new stories. Where Vader, you can't really do that because we know his end date, and Star Wars wants to really stick with their timeline. So that's going to hurt him long term. Like in 30 years from now, will he be as relevant as Batman? That's a question, because Batman's going to keep on making movies, and Vader, he's kind of going to be done. So you have to think about that, right? If you're thinking long term. Now, he's animated and playable, though. That is the beautiful thing about him, because when metaverse stuff comes, he's going to be way more important than Todd being in there. He's going to be funner to have, right? So some of the negatives of him is, like I said, no solo movies. We might get one solo movie, but it's not like we're going to get like a bunch like Batman. You know, his story's almost all been fully told. If you look down here, you know, like there's not really much more to say about Vader. Now, they will fill in the blanks, and that's what they're doing, and it's amazing. And they'll just keep on doing stuff. But, you know, once his story's told, right? Well, so will he fade out over time as they do more Star Wars villains and characters, and they expand the Star Wars universe? I don't know, but Batman will never fade out, right? And then the future relevance, that's what I'm talking about here. Like in 30 years from now, of course, he'll still be relevant for sure. It's Vader, but will he be as prominent as Batman? That's a question to ask right there, right? So let's get on to the next part. So Todd versus Vader, okay? So this is where I'm going to give you my solution and some more thoughts about it right here. So this is what you've been waiting for. Who is better? Which one to buy, right? So like I said, Todd's got the selling fee that hurts him. He's not animated, all right? Vader's got the, like, you know, less editions. He is animated, but Todd's got the history behind him and the future relevance, you know, that they'll keep making movies. Vader, you know, is the most iconic villain, so it's a very tough decision, right? So what would I do if I was going to decide between both of these? This is what I wanted to tell you. What would I do? You can do whatever you want, but this is what I'm doing this is how I'm solving the war, okay? Own both! That's the solution, everybody. Own both. You can't go wrong. Watch them battle it out. They're both going to be great. They're so fine and tight. So I would say get both, okay? But if I am going to give you my actual little pick, I am going to give the slight edge to Vader, just because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, like, look at him, right? And also, you know, he's animated and stuff, and he doesn't have that selling fee, right? So I'll give the slight edge to Vader, just very slight, but my solution is owning both, and I think that everybody should have both in here, and I think you just can't go wrong if you do that. So I want to know what you think about this war going on. The solution is owning both. You know, then you can sit back and watch people duke it out as the prices rise. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love both, right? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video. Happy collecting.